Ipswich face Blackburn for the third time this season, hoping that home comforts will enable them to go one better than the draw achieved last time out. Join us here to preview the big game on Saturday on Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. We made it through another week at the start of January. I don't know about you, Seb, but the weather's miserable. We've kind of had a bit of time off, or a lot of us have had time off and are back to work, and we're back in the grind, aren't we? But we've got league football returning, and we're back at Portman Road, which we bitched about on Monday, the lack of that in February. So we should count our lucky stars, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's always better when the football season's back and you know you've got a home game on Saturday. It makes the working week slightly more tolerable. And yeah, like you say, lots of chances to visit Portman Road over the next, 2.5 weeks before February kicks in, and it'll be a distant memory as we're going up and down to North Wales and down to Portsmouth and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to the return of league football. FA Cup, I love the FA Cup. It's great, but it hasn't got that same buzz, has it yet? You don't wake up on an FA Cup kind of third round day in the same mood, ready to go like you do for a league game, I don't think.
No, and we're chasing 3 wins in a row, at least in the league. So that's important. And as I say, we should be drinking in as much of Portman Road as we can, because we're not going to see it in February, are we? So you're back for this one, are you not?
I am, yes. Looking forward to it. It's when was I back last? I can't remember. Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was. I wasn't there on New Year's Day for Oxford. So very much looking forward to coming back and seeing Blackburn for a third time this season, as you kind of inferred to in the intro.
And for those listening, not able to see you, resplendent in a Town shirt. It's a rare instance that I am joined. I mean, there's a 32-year gap between the shirts that we're both wearing. I'm in a 93, 94, and how dare you, 93, 94 keeper shirt. More of that as to why later. And you're in the season shirt. Any reason for
I bought it after the 5-0 Sheffield United Friday night game. I think you were there. I think we went to town on the Saturday morning. I bought it there, and I realised I've never worn it. So I was packing to head back down the A14 tomorrow night, and I saw it in my wardrobe and thought, I haven't worn that shirt since I bought it. I forgot I had it, I'll be honest. So I thought, I don't know, I'll wear it on the podcast tonight. So if this goes horribly wrong on Saturday, #blame Seb can get trending, because I don't think I've ever worn one of these shirts on the pod. So you know who to blame at 5 p.m. on Saturday if it's all gone a bit peaked.
How many more times are we going to get that trending? Hello to everyone out there in the chat. Let us know you're there. We appreciate you. We are. It's always good to see some of the usual suspects as well. Michael's first up, giving us the weather report. It's 23 degrees and cloudy. Poor you at 6 a.m, Michael, but great to have you with us. Certainly not 4 degrees and raining or whatever it was. Better than last week, though, I guess. And 80's with us as well. Rob, what a lovely message this is as well. A time to sit and enjoy Seb, and more Seb than Rich, but telling us how we're going to beat. Oh, he's put the pressure on us right there, hasn't he? Genuinely look forward to seeing you in the chat, Rob. So thank you, and everyone who's joined us every week. We appreciate you. And if this is your first pre-match show, let us know that as well. Evening to Neil. He'll be stretching his calves and his muscles ready for a lineup quiz later on. I'm sure Seb has got something niche, which I'm dreading. Jeremy's here. Really looking forward to Saturday, where you can reel in the top 2 a little bit further. They both have tricky fixtures. Adrian mentioning keeping that winning run going. Absolutely. Aid's got confidence. Lynn is with us too. Great to see you, Lynn. And David in Helsinki. And yeah, a little bit of love for the vintage Umbro goalkeeper shirt. When I got this, it's kind of like I've won kit collecting, Seb. It's kind of
is it original one, or is it one of these remade?
So it's the template is original, and a guy called Rich Wilkinson stitched the badge from the time and the sponsor logo for me. So the kit itself, the template is legit, real from the 90s. It just didn't have sponsor and a badge on it, and it's been sorted for me. So really chuffed with this one, and it's of its era, shall we say, as well. But yeah, loads of you out there. Great to see so many of you. Keep your views coming as we go through the show, and certainly bits and pieces of news, Seb, because as I'm not surprised by this. I was thinking about this the other day. Manager of the month. We beat Coventry in the month of December, and generally done all right. And as a result, Kieran McKenna's in the running for the Manager of the Month award.
He is, yeah. If you're listening to this after about, I assume, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, you will know who has won. He's taken 14 points from the month of December. We won 4, drew 2, and lost 1 of the games. So he's tied with Javi Gracia, who's also up for it from Watford. He took 14 points as well. Sergei Jekovic from Hull took 13 points. And Vita Matos, the new manager at Swansea, took 12 points. They're the 3 other nominees. Given the fact that we doubled Coventry in that month, that's got to count for something. I know Watford have done really well recently and kind of come from nowhere and have been on a really great run of form to gatecrash the playoffs, but surely us beating Coventry at the start of December and then right at the end of December has to count for something, doesn't it? I know the Leicester result was a bit crappy. The draw against Millwall was meh, but doubling Coventry counts. He's got the joint most points. I think he wins it, don't you?
Well, I guess it depends whether the Coventry benchmark is sufficient to nudge him over the line. I think in terms of if it's awarded on points and stuff like that, fair enough. But I think sometimes it's the achievement, isn't it? It's the narrative around the month as well, and beating the team that everyone thought was sailing off into the distance. I think for that reason, as you say, Seb, I think that gets in there. But there's a lot to like about Watford at the moment, and.
Or maybe Vita Matos, he's turned it round. They've taken 2 less points, but I guess, is that a harder gig? The fact he's gone in there and they were awful. We saw how bad they were right towards the end of Alan Sheehan's reign. Do you reckon maybe they get kudos for that? I don't know, but yeah, having doubled the league leaders, having taken the joint most points in the calendar month, I would like to see that McKenna gets his. He won it was it September? He won it as well, I think, didn't he? Or possibly, I might have imagined that. Yeah, and he won it a couple of times in the promotion season, didn't he? So hopefully the manager's month curse, whatever it is, the first game you play afterwards. I think Ben agrees with you on that one, doesn't he? Hopefully, if he does win it on Friday morning, that will not be a thing on Saturday.
No such thing. Yeah, so in the unbiased opinion of the Blue Monday podcast, Kieran McKenna should be December manager of the month. We need to shout out ITFC fans supporting food banks, Seb. They are celebrating their 3rd anniversary too, and they are doing their January collection for this game, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So obviously slightly earlier with the early kickoff time. Collection time is 10 a.m. until 12. Unusual collection points, 1 in the fan zone and 1 kind of opposite Planet Blue around the Sir Ralph area. Special request this time of year for tinned fruit and veg. That was on the website earlier. If you want more details, feel free to go to @ITFC_FSF on Twitter or X to get all the lowdown. But yeah, a couple of hours earlier than normal. And if you can, please bring tinned fruit and veg, as is the request this time.
Yep. And big shout out to the folks at ITFC FSF. They do really important work, vital work in the kind of this local community. They've given me some bits and pieces actually, and particularly the importance of donating now, because everyone kind of does lots of donations and stuff around Christmas. But January is kind of a really important month, and they did so much work during 2025. But yeah, they apparently very much need an IP1 where collections happen monthly is more deprived than 87% of neighbourhoods in England, where 1/3 of children in Ipswich living in poverty. So definitely give them your support, and cash donations also welcome as well. So Seb's given the details there. We're doing brilliant work, and go and give the guy, go and give him a shout on Saturday. And finally, Seb, ICFC women, after the Charlton game was postponed from a frozen pitch at Colchester. A lot of movement there as well off the field, Seb. Do you want to talk through those bits before I talk about the game on Sunday?
Yeah, so we did that reaction to Joe Sheehan's surprise exit, and the statement from Mark Ashton did say further announcements will be made in due course, and it looks like they're starting to come through. We've had Sean Burt arrive as the technical director. He was previously at Hearts, where he was head of recruitment and assistant manager. He seems to come in with a pretty decent CV, and then we've had an exit as well. Head of performance Nicola Stallworthy's departed to pursue opportunities elsewhere. She was kind of in charge of performance and conditioning. She'd been at the club since August 2021, so kind of just a few months after the game changer takeover went through. So 1 in, 1 out, and yeah, like you say, it's very much David Wright's kind of baptism this weekend against Sheffield United in the cup. The league game postponed against Charlton, so a bit of respite from the league, and see what you can do in that cup game.
And Sheffield United were a side that we were expecting to be in a scrap with down the bottom. If you recall from earlier in the season, we talked about Sheffield United being the team that got the reprieve because Blackburn's women's team was supposed to. They stayed up and they got that final kind of safety spot. And at Sheffield United's expense, Blackburn weren't able to commit to the season, and therefore Sheffield United retook their place. Actually, they've consolidated a bit. They beat Town 3-2 earlier in the season, a game where Town went conceded goals at really bad times and scored late goals to kind of make the scoreline a little bit more close. So they'll be looking for revenge on that, and certainly looking to make a statement in terms of David Wright's first game in charge. And there will be a league game at Colchester at some point against Sheffield United quite soon. So psychologically, so we could have talked about the Wrexham game. There's already a week in that, but what you don't want to do is kind of lose again to Sheffield United, then know you have to play them in the league. Of course, you can rectify that situation, but it might be good to get a win under our belt and go on a bit of a run in the cup as well. It's never a bad thing too. So wish David Wright, Lauren Phillips, and all the girls, particularly Lucy O'Brien, all the very best for Sunday at the Martello Ground in Felixstowe. If you want to get tickets, 1 p.m. kickoff, tickets on ITFC's ticket website, but also I would guess that you can pay on the day, but do make sure you get there in good time if you're going to do that. Good. Blackburn, Seb. I was going to put do I want to put this comment up in case there's Blackburn fans? Yeah. Are we going to heavily water the pitch to make Blackburn feel at home?
It won't matter because we've got good drainage systems.
Well, we are doing a lot of tempting of fate, aren't we? But we've had some run-ins with Blackburn so far this season. It's worth saying a little bit of panto off the field, which is perhaps a little bit of a distraction from certainly a performance in the game that was abandoned that wasn't particularly good from a Town perspective. And then we got out of jail a little bit with Egley's last kick of the game equaliser. So, away from home, obviously Blackburn had been really struggling and we kind of made them look half decent. The form has rallied. There's a couple of bits of business, or at least one bit of business that I'm aware of there. What's the state of play, or how have things moved on since those games, those panto games at Ewood Park that we've had?
I think you're being a bit kind there, saying that I thought we were crap on both occasions at Ewood Park. I thought the rained off game, very little kind of in it, but we didn't show any killer instinct. And the second one at the start of December? Yeah, it would be when it was really poor. We were really lucky with that Egley winner. And yeah, we sat here twice before doing the Blackburn preview and said how their home form was awful and it was their away form that was keeping them the right side of the line. And that is still very much the case. They are at the moment the right side of the relegation dots as it stands, but they are making hard work of it, mainly because their form at Ewood Park is rubbish. But for all those people that are happy in the chat and nice and confident for Saturday, their away form is actually pretty decent. I'll give you some numbers. They're not bad on the road at all. They currently sit 20th. 28 points. They are 4 points clear of Norwich, and crucially, they do have a game in hand over Norwich as well. Played 25, won 7, drawn 7, lost 11, scored 24 goals, conceded 30, -6 goal difference. So straight away, you will notice thinking they don't score many goals, but they don't concede many either. Third lowest scorers in the league, and they are massively underperforming their XG for goals scored. They're -12 under their XG, which is the second highest in the division, but only 30 goals conceded is decent. It's the 9th fewest in the division. So they've certainly got something to work with from the back. If they could just solve the goal scoring and attacking problems at the other end of the pitch, they'd be far higher to their kind of 9th, 8th, 10th position where they've kind of finished the last few seasons. They don't come into it on a decent run of form. Only one win in the last 10. Went out the cup last weekend to Hull on penalties as well. The one win in the last 5 was Millwall. 3 draws, Charlton, Sheffield Wednesday and Middlesbrough, and 1 defeat against Wrexham. But as I say, away form is decent. 18 points from 12 games, won 5 of their 12 games away from Ewood Park. Only 10 goals conceded on the road, which is the fewest in the league, but equally, they just don't score away from home. 11 goals scored is the 3rd fewest on the road after Pompey and Birmingham. So if the numbers there go for anything, don't expect too many goals, I would suggest, at Portman Road on Saturday. It might be a bit of a binary game, I would suggest.
I was getting a sense of foreboding when you were talking us through that. Yeah, we'll talk more about some of those games in a bit more specifically. Worth noting, they had extra time, didn't they, against Hull before they went out on penalties. Looked like Hull had the better of that game. But as you say, from a Valor and Ismail team, hardworking, we know them quite well. We've seen them at close quarters, and I think maybe we perhaps underestimated them a little bit. They didn't low block too much against us, defensively solid, of course, but had plenty of attempts at the 2 games that we saw, 1 and 3 quarter games that we saw, to give us some troubles there. So we definitely need to give them respect. Do you want to talk about the draw against Charlton, Seb? Because good resilience shown.
Yeah, I was going to say, showed a little bit of resilience. So it was a 2-2 draw the weekend that the Portsmouth game for us was frozen off. They were 2-0 down. 2-0 down. They pulled the goal back before half-time and got the equaliser. In the second half, there was a close-range finish and a penalty for Charlton to put them into a commanding position. They then rat boy Todd Cantwell, who we'll refer to throughout this podcast, I'm sure, put a decent cross in for Musa Baraji. I'll discuss their injury problems later. They've kind of repurposed Baraji as a bit of a striker. He got the first goal back and then got the equaliser on 77 with a Connor Chaplin trademark finish after the ball was pulled back to round about the penalty spots. 59% possession, so had the majority of the ball. 0.5 XG to 1.47 for Charlton, but Charlton, as I said, did have a penalty, so that skews things slightly. 17 shots, 5 on target, only 1 big chance created. And this is why they are where they are. They really struggle against the sides in and around them. They've taken 3 points, all draws, from games against Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, Norwich, Portsmouth and Charlton. They just can't beat those sides either directly above them or below them to pull themselves clear. That's why they found themselves struggling at the wrong end of the table. A couple of alterations, but if they'd have beaten Norwich, they lost to Norwich 2-0 at Ewood Park. If they'd have beaten Norwich, things would look a lot more rosy now. If they'd have beaten Charlton last weekend, they could have kept them really into the mix. So yeah, they have a habit of not being able to beat the sides in and around them.
Yeah, which I guess isn't a surprise because probably those are the sides they're going to sit in and contain, aren't they? And it looks like maybe this Blackburn squad lacks maybe the individual quality that of teams up the near the top of the division. You know, you even looking at Wrexham with the likes of Broadhead and Windass and so on. You know, most of the teams in the top have got someone who can unlock that. And in principle, Blackburn have got those players, but maybe not attuned to try and exploit that. And maybe that's a factor as well, is just relying on someone to pop a goal in. But Baraji looked good, big physical presence. So it's not a, you know, it makes sense as a move to kind of nudge him further up the pitch. Bit of needs must in there, but it's worked out all right. Albeit I think he missed one of the penalties against Hull that lost them the cup tie there. We've obviously spoken about Ismail quite a lot. Do you want to just kind of remind people a little bit about his history?
Yeah, been there for just under a year. February 2025, he took over. He's managed 39 games, won 11 of them, drawn 10, lost 18, 1.1 points per game, which is 51 across a season, which some seasons keeps you the right side of the line and sometimes doesn't and gets you relegated. So, yeah, squeaky bum time. And I guess the only thing that would strike me is obviously Norwich and Oxford have twisted. They've sacked their managers and replaced him. Swansea did, and they've pulled clear. Nathan Jones obviously sticking. Charlton sticking with Nathan Jones and Portsmouth sticking with John Massinio. Do you think there's a world they might look to move him on, or would you have done it before the January window to give him the best chance of kind of identifying targets, looking to bring people in? Do you think they stick with him now and hope that his kind of binary football and making them hard to beat will see them get the right side of the line? If I was a Blackburn fan, I would still be worried, thinking that Norwich probably have goals in them if Josh Sargent stays and Makama looks like he's finding a bit of form now. I would worry that they would naturally start to move up the table, and therefore logically Blackburn will be one of the clubs to replace. And that'd be my fear, I think. But do you think they stick with him, or do you think there's a world where they do make a change?
I think if you're going to make a change, as you say, it's now. It's January to give a new man the window. But it feels to me like, as you mentioned, the injuries are a factor. The squad is also a little bit of a hodgepodge, isn't it? And
yeah.
I just kind of think, who else are you going to get that's better than, at least in principle, Valérien Ismail? I'm just not sure there's a better candidate out there for that job. Yeah, but you're not going to get much difference, so are you? If you're talking about binary score lines, you know, I think that's what you're going to get. You might get the new manager bounce of, you know, Gary Barrow is going to work that team really hard, but I'm not sure that hasn't been happening already at Blackburn under Ismail. So I just think, as always with Blackburn, the conversation kind of draws your eyes off the field and the ownership situation there. And we always quote our learned friend Harry from Bath about owners and how they the fact that it relegates clubs. I think you give Ismail a couple of million to spend in the window or bring in a few loans, I think probably they're okay. I mean, there's a lot of question marks over Oxford and Portsmouth, I would say. But you're right. Whilst you're still in that mix, some owners, maybe the Venky's or one of them, might get a little bit an itchy trigger finger perhaps and make a change. But I think for now there's enough credit in the bank just about for me, but Blackburn fans might know better than that one. Should we talk about the kind of history with us, maybe beyond this season? Before we do that, do you want to do a bit of both? I've got a name for you from the annals of Ipswich Town history that has got us experience with Blackburn? Do you want to give me a holding naught attempt?
Yeah, so I can't say John Stead because I'm sure we've used him previously. I will go for Jay McEverley.
Great shout. I was thinking about Jay McEverley of going in there, but I've gone I'm not sure if this is even more niche, but it's not Jay McEverley. So first clue, Liverpool-born attacking midfielder / forward, joined Town in August 2012.
2012. Liverpool-born.
Yeah.
So that's Jules' last season. It was the young lad on loan from Everton. I can't think what his name is. We cancelled the loan. No, I can't remember. No, go on, next.
His spell at Town lasted 3 years. He left in 2015, but he only made 21 appearances, scoring 1 goal during that time.
Alex Henshaw? I got no idea.
No, it's a good. I think he signed under Mick in 2014. I think maybe.
Okay.
I just thought I'd chuck this stat in there as a question. In his 3-year spell with the club, he made more. He made 7 more appearances on whilst out on loan than he actually did for Town, including 5 appearances for Blackburn. Hence the link there. So more.
So we loaned him to Blackburn, did we?
We loaned him to Blackburn. He had 3 loan spells away from the club.
Nathan which was Ellington.
And he made more appearances whilst out on loan. No. This controversial character is mostly known for his 2 spells and a loan back from Ipswich. So one of the clubs of those 3 was Peterborough United.
Oh, yeah. 1.7 million quid, broke his foot, was rubbish. Paul Taylor?
Correct. Very well done. 4 out of 5. Final clue.
Was it the Christmas?
No.
I thought the clue would be looked really happy to be doing Christmas visits in 2013, whatever it was. That picture of him, or toothache. One of those 2 things I would have done.
Toothache. So I ended up with and you alluded to it there. Peterborough owner Darren McAntony pulled Marcus Evans and Paul Jules' pants down by agreeing a 1.5 million fee for him. When previously the club, I did have a joint deal in place, which included George Boyd, and I think we couldn't agree personal terms, and we went back just for Taylor. And Boyd went off and had like 100 appearances for Burnley, didn't he? And played in the top flight, and 21 appearances and 1 goal from Subway's favourite Ipswich Town star.
Was the goal away at Blackpool, if I remember rightly?
I think so.
That 1 goal was a winner, I think, or something. Yeah.
A few people got it. Well done to Horse Hollerer and to Rob. Good shouts from in terms of there's quite a lot of good players that have made the journey in between. I thought you'd have gone for Alan Mann maybe.
That was too early. That's 2003, isn't it?
As in your holding naught, sorry. Jordan Rhodes, of course. Someone's mentioned Jordan Rhodes. Shefki Kuchi. There are some good links between the 2 clubs there. And in terms of the history, Seb, it's vaguely positive in Town's favour, isn't it?
It is. 22 wins for Town, 19 draws between the 2, and 17 wins for Blackburn. The last time they came to Portman Road, one of the best games of the promotion season. September 2023, Town ran out 4-3 victors in the end. Harry Clark has departed the club this week, put us 1-0 up from the edge of the area. Arne Sigurdsson equalised. Broadhead and Hurst made it 3-1 at halftime and pretty comfortable. And that season, doing what we did, we allowed them to score 2 goals. Sammy Schmodic got one of them. Clark got an own goal to make it 3-3. And then 81st minute, was it 82nd minute? Step forward, Massimo Luongo at the north stand end, who chested it down, didn't he, and hit it on the half volley into the roof of the net. One of the best games of that season. That was an absolutely epic ding-dong of a match fairly early on. There was a 2-2 draw, the opening day of the new Paul Hurst era. Very late equaliser, to get ourselves out of jail back in 2018. A 3-2 victory in January 2017, 3-1 victory in December 2013. And one thing I didn't realise till I did the research is that Blackburn haven't actually won at Portman Road since 1994. They religiously always beat us at Ewood Park. It's the kind of place we would always go to under Mick and just lose 2-0. Normally Jordan Rhodes would get at least one of the goals. But their record at Portman Road is pretty crap. So that will give people a bit of confidence going into the weekend. And now it's my turn to throw it back to you. So I'm going to be nice. If you guys haven't seen Top Tier,
contextualise the shirt. Is that right? Before we go into the lineup quiz, unless your lineup quiz is from the 93-94 season, Town beat Blackburn at home 1-0, as you say, and then on the last day of the season, It was the 0-0 game at Ewood Park where Blackburn were going to be champions the year after. Town squeaked a 0-0 draw. Mark Steen scored a last-minute winner for Chelsea at home to Sheffield United, and they were relegated instead of us. So that's the context behind this shirt. And I think maybe my third Town game was the home win against Blackburn in December, where I think does Gwenchev score an overhead kick. There's a Chris Kiwomia goal when I think it's Mike Colin Hendry or someone on the line tries to handball it and try to save it. So yeah, good memories of early doors of Blackburn wins from days gone past. But you're going to give me one of these random wins in January 2017, aren't you? That I have no idea about.
I'm going to give you the choice because you did struggle. If everyone's seen the Portsmouth preview show we did on Top 2, you really struggled with the lineup quiz on that day. So I'll be nice. You can choose either the 2-2 draw, the first game of the Paul Hurst era, the 3-2 in January 2017. So halfway through the season, we didn't nearly get relegated, but the year we really struggled under Mick, or a 3-1 in December 2013 as Mick is looking to build what will become the playoff team. So you can have any of those three. What would you rather?
They're all crap, Seb. Is that you've served me up like I think we've done the 2-2 before, by the way. So I think we probably
scrap that then.
Take that one out of the mix. Although I would probably not get it right anyway. I'm still struggling to think in my head about that team anyway. January 2017. Let's just do that one.
Okay.
But 3-2. Well.
A 3-2 victory. So this is the year we've sold Daryl Murphy at the start of the season and are therefore struggling up front.
Well, is Pittman up front, or have we signed Leon Best by that point?
Neither. No. I think we've got one out-and-out striker, one player playing just off him.
So 2017.
Build from the back. You'll get more of the back. Build from the back.
Build from the back. Well, Berra and is Berra still there? And Smith is still there? And no, Chambers.
Yep. It's a back three, by the way, in wing backs. One more central defender. Classy player signed from Portsmouth.
Oh, Webster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you just said Knudsen. He's the left wing back.
Yeah. Is there someone like Josh Emmanuel at right wing back?
There is Josh Emmanuel at right wing back. Yeah, fair play. So there you go. You've got the defence straight away.
Barton goal, I would assume.
Yes, Bart, yeah. Yep. So a 3-man
Scuggless?
No. You got Scoose. Yeah, Scoose, you got one of them, yeah.
I am.
No.
Is there a Larson Toure or someone like that in there?
No, this is a couple of years after Larson Toure. Okay. So you've got a player signed on a free at the start of the playoff season and then brought in on loan along with Ballant Badger, and then he signed a long-term deal and stayed for probably 4 years.
Oh, wow. That's not helping me. No.
The other player, classy player who plays for Pompey, has played the most minutes for Pompey this season.
Andre Dazelle. Okay.
Yep, Andre Dazelle, yep. So the other central midfielder, and then a striker who looks like he played up front, but didn't play up front for most of Mick's tenure. He got shunted out to the wing.
Yeah. No. Freddie?
Yep. Freddie Sears. The other player who technically is in the front too, but he wouldn't have been, was the shining light that season. One of these perennial low knees we had, who we had no chance of signing and would score a load of goals.
Yeah. Tom Lawrence.
Yeah.
So
the other central,
chuck him in the mix.
Other central midfielder.
Signed by Mick on a free and stayed for
Came in on loan with his mate Ballant Badger. Badger was binned off pretty quickly.
Oh, Brew.
This guy, Kevin Brew. Yeah, well done.
Let me lit Brew up and down. That's if anyone went to the Dusseldorf friendly, you'll remember that one. Our mate Alex. Good. Yeah, well, I was crap at that, wasn't I? Let's see if the chat was any better. What have we got? So Neil's gone from start to finish. Good stuff, Neil. Bart, good. Chambers, yes. Goose, yes. Sears, yes. Smith, no to Bishop. Well, it's all going wrong now, Seb. Look, who's no. Chris has got
so well.
Tom Lawrence, well done. Shabby Waghorn, no. We got a Dazelle though from Neil. It's much. You see, it's much more difficult than it looks, folks, isn't it? And let's be clear that's not a vintage Ipswich Town era. Let's have some 90s lineup quizzes. I'm putting it out there. I want a 90s one next summer around. It's me next week. So I'll do I know Sheffield United.
Oh, Sheffield United, you'll have loads.
Some vintage Sheffield United games there, but we're not going to have a home. Well, is it Wrexham after that? No, it isn't.
No, Preston.
Oh no. Careful what you wish for. Good. Let's move things on. I mentioned I thought it was a couple of bits of business, just one bit of business. Well, and an out as well. A name that's familiar to Town fans from maybe a couple of years ago, brought in on loan.
Yeah, 1 in, 1 out. Erin Cashin spent the first half of the season on loan at Birmingham. He was bought by Brighton. We remember him from his Derby days in the League One season. Very highly rated left-sided centre half, who I think a few of us would have been quite happy if we'd have made a move for him at some point. He got a big move to Brighton for 10 million quid last January. Loaned out at Birmingham. Only played 3 games, I think, 3 starts, gone straight in at Blackburn. I'll discuss their injury issues at the back, but I'd expect him to start and make his full league debut on Saturday. And they've sent one out as well. Makatir Gay, centre forward, has gone to China, Shanghai Shenhua. 16 appearances in the first half of the season, 0 goals and 0 assists. So they've shipped him out to China to free up a bit of space. And they are linked with a player from Barnsley, but it won't be done in time for the weekend. They're after a young striker from Barnsley.
Is it Keeler Dunn, I think? Maybe
it might be. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, it's an attacking player from Barnsley, but yeah, that's who they're after to try and boost their goal scoring numbers.
It's been a while since I've done this. Maktar Gay, and then we'll go with that. Well,
what did I say? Did I get it wrong?
The first name was a little bit something different. How is Ismail got these guys set up?
Well, up until they played us in the rained-off game, it was very much kind of a 4 at the back system, a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, etc. He changed it the game after us into a back 3, and he's kind of stuck with it ever since, partly due to necessity with the injury crisis that they've got, and partly because they found a little bit of form in kind of November time, and it seemed to be working quite well for them. So you'll see on the screen there, you've got the back 3 and the wing-back system. They play a 1 in the 10 behind 2 out-and-out strikers. The 1 in the 10 is Todd Cantwell. Roll it forward, and it kind of sticks fairly solid. You'll notice in the centre of the pitch, you've got Tronstad, Gardner Hickman, and then Shane McLaughlin, the centre-back. He's the most experienced of the back 3. That 3 there, as you can see, very much stays central and clearly look to make most of the defensive contributions. George Pratt and I think it's Tom Aitchison, the 2 centre-halves, they've got 13 appearances for Blackburn between them. They are very inexperienced now, having to fill in due to injuries to Hayden Carter and to somebody else's name escapes me at the moment. They sold Dominic Hyam on the eve of the season, obviously, to Wrexham. So they are very short at the back, hence why Cashin has come in. Todd Cantwell likes to buzz around. We saw that in the rained-off game. He came off the bench in the rearranged game, but he was a bit of a pest in the rained-off game, wasn't he? I know he scored the penalty, but he was kind of here, there, and everywhere. And one thing I really remember from both those games, the number 23, the striker, Ahashi, was leading the press really aggressively. I think it was him that Matasi were brought down in the second game and was perhaps lucky to get away with a red card. He will press from the front. If we move it forward to the heat maps where they touch the ball most, you'll see Cantwell like to come right out to the left-hand side and link up with Harry Pickering, the left-back who pushes on. Ahashi does stay fairly central. As I said, he's the guy that will lead that press for them. And then Miller, the right wing-back, I'll come to him in my kind of players to watch out for. He likes to get very high as well. And as discussed, Gardner Hickman, Tronstad and McLaughlin are very much the players kind of left back to look after the defensive duties. They are very solid. They are kind of very well organised, and no surprise, you've got 3 players there of real experience kind of looking after that back part of the pitch.
And for those listening on podcast, what I'm seeing for this touch map, they're in a rectangle shape. It looks bizarre.
It must be tactical against Charlton. Yeah, Cantwell to come that far out. If you remove Cantwell and put him more back into the centre in his number 10 position, it would look slightly more orthodox. There's clearly some sort of tactic here to get Cantwell over to that left-hand side, maybe to look to overload Charlton. I'm not sure. If you put him more central, it would look more natural. It kind of, when they're in possession, it kind of refers to almost a back 5-1 and then 4 out-and-out attackers. You've got both fullbacks pushed right up alongside both strikers.
I love the live chat. They are thinking exactly along my wavelengths. Did you say Harry who? Harry
Pickering.
Harry who?
Pickering.
Harry who?
Well, I don't know what I've done. What have I done wrong?
That's fine. You a couple of times round is fine. You're obviously not aware of a Ronnie Pickering. Ronnie Pickering. Look it up. Google it. Okay. Let's move it on. In terms of players that I've mentioned, Baraji. I like the physical presence, playing out of position, of course. Ahashi, busy, annoying up front. Maybe a little bit gravitationally challenged at times, but a nuisance nevertheless for opposition defences. Are there names that you want to draw people's attentions to, Seb?
Well, Ahashi's the top scorer with 6, 1 assist in 23 appearances. As I mentioned, he's a real presser. He's 3rd highest in the league for winning possession in the final third, so he will look to chase down all day. Todd Cantwell, we have to refer to, the number 10. Obviously, we know him from his Norwich days. He's their most creative threat. 4 goals, 2 assists, plays in the 10 role, 67 touches per game, so very high levels of involvement. I like Sondre Tronstad. I think he's a really good, solid player at this level. I think he missed the rained-off game and the rearranged game, I think. Kind of the box-to-box option, 59 touches per game, keeps them ticking over nicely. And Lewis Miller, who I referred to, the right wing back, he can also play right back or kind of right centre back. 60 touches per game, so very high level of involvement. 10th in the league for tackles per game and 8th in the league for blocks per game. So will throw himself on the line, last ditch kind of defending. And they've got a real dilemma in goal because Blazes Toth came in last April, established himself as the number one, so much so that Ainsley Pears was told in the summer he could depart and was barely featured in pre-season. Toth then got injured, so Ainsley Pears came back in and kind of rescued the number one shirt. But then Toth played last weekend against Hull in the Cup. He's now back from injury. So that'll be quite an interesting dilemma as to what they look to do in the nets. One player I haven't mentioned because he's injured, which is good for us, is Andre Goodjohnson. He scored in the rearranged game, that kind of low header from a flicked on corner relatively late on. He pulled his hamstring on the weekend of the Sheffield Wednesday game for us, the weekend before Christmas, so he won't feature. Rayo Marishta, Hayden Carter was the player I couldn't remember. Adam Forshaw, they were all 2 weeks away or so just before the FA Cup, so a chance maybe they might make the bench, but I'd be amazed if any of them were to start. Scott Wharton, Sidney Tavares and Ryan Hedges all out longer term, and Ryan Alabusu is away with Nigeria at AFCON. They went out last night, but there's a third place playoff, so he will not feature. I didn't give you any stats about Blackburn. I'll just throw a couple of things at you. Yes, they are more to the direct kind of style of play. They are second quickest in the league for direct speed of getting the ball from front to back, and they are 7th for long balls per game with 63, and they love a cross. And I do remember this from both games up at Ewood Park. Those two fullbacks / wingbacks will look to bomb on and whip balls into the box. They are 4th highest for crosses in the division and also 4th highest for crossing accuracy. And I've already mentioned the really high press, 3rd highest for pressing intensity in the division.
Yeah, so maybe a good time to Christian Walton back in nets. We'll talk more about who will get involved in a bare knuckle with Pickering after we hear from our friends at Atwells.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwells Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
Thank you to our friends at Atwells, and also we are really grateful to be supported by One Stop Badges too. If I can multitask while Seb is talking about Ipswich Town, One Stop Badges have got 10 top tier memberships they want to give away for the month. So I will try and do that in the background really subtly, so Seb can just drag that out and not come and ask me any questions. That'd be great. But yeah, plenty of stuff going on top tier as usual. Blogs and articles from Jack and our team of writers there. The weekend preview with Henry and George will be out tomorrow as well. And then, as usual, free to access, as always, will always be the flagship show back Sunday night. Dave, Joe, and Ben in the host's chair. And then we have, we're back to the kind of Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday situation next week. Seb and I are trying to find an opportunity to have a quick chat about Sam Morsey and Bristol City ahead of Tuesday night. Another home game, of course. We've got some people in place to hopefully live react, but not Seb. So I'm going to try and sort that out. But as always, beyond the scoreline on top tier, live reactions, previews. We'll be back to talk about Sheffield United next week. So the content never stops. Please do give us a thumbs up if you're watching here on YouTube. And thank you to everyone who's given a 5-star rating on podcast app of choice. We've had 2 lovely reviews over Christmas, Seb, from AD and from Jen. So thank you both for the really lovely words about the podcast on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. If you want to do likewise, we would always appreciate that. And yeah, I think that's good for now in terms of bits and pieces of business. There was a transfer show with Craig and Joe earlier in the week, so you can go and find that too. So plenty of stuff. Fill your boots. Plenty of Blue Monday content you're coming away. What does Kieran McKenna do about Blackburn then, Seb? Do we stick with the team that played okay against Oxford? Do we try to do a bit of a hybrid with maybe some players coming in against Blackpool. What's the Walton back in goal? Should we start at the back and work our way forward? Walton back in goal seems a no-brainer, as much as Palmer's decent, but Walton has made that shirt his own now, hasn't he?
Very much so. It's his shirt. It's his shirt to lose. He's got better and better, hasn't he, since he came back into the side. We're kind of seeing the Christian Walton that we became so dependent on in the League One promotion season, and the one that had us so nervous on the eve of the Championship season when he got injured. We were thinking, do we need to replace the keeper? So yeah, Walton. I think the back four. We all know what the settled back four is now: Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre, and Leif Davis to come back in. And then central midfield will be interesting. It'll be Matasiwa. I think we were all shocked to see it at 2:00 last Saturday when his name was on the team sheet for that FA Cup game. But as McKenna said, he's in great form. So sometimes it's important to keep him ticking over. I think Kiyust will probably come in for a home game, given it's a game we'll be expected to have more of the ball in. So I think he might well be one to come in alongside Matasiwu. And then I guess we've just got the age-old conundrum of the three behind the striker. Obviously, Philogene will start on the left, no-brainer. Nunez will start in the 10, I would imagine, no-brainer. Egley, I assume, will go back to the right. Wes Burns, I know, started the cup game, but is still working his way back up to full fitness. Too early for him to start. Casey McAteer doesn't tend to start Portman Road games, does he? You might need him at Sheffield United a week later, maybe. So I think Egley shifts back across to that right winger role, and then I think Chuba Akpom probably starts in the 9, assuming George Hurst isn't ready yet. I think McKenna did say that he was expecting Hurst to be back. Yeah, I think he might be back for this game, but I assume that'll be on the bench at best. So maybe we'll look to go for Akpom.
Did you say he's on the grass yet, Seb?
Yeah.
Or?
There's a training video gone around. I can't see if he is on the grass or on the aesthetically weaved pitch, whatever it is. Yeah. But yeah, no. Hopefully he's not too far away, because he makes a big difference, and obviously the lack of incomings and the lack of transfer rumours is deafening at the moment. So we do need him back sooner rather than later. It must be now, 4 weeks since he got that injury, and McKenna said a few weeks. So hopefully he can be back on the bench and get a few minutes on Saturday. But I think Akpom will probably stay in that striking role, given he started against Oxford, scored, and started the cup game. So on screen now is my predicted 11. Walton, Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre, Davis, Matasiwa, and Kiyust in midfield. Egley, Nunez, and Philogene, the three behind Chuba Akpom. Anything there you disagree with?
No, I don't. Nothing offends me. I do wonder whether it's I think the only debate there really is possibly the Kiyust to Taylor conundrum. I think I'm just trying to figure out, is it a game for Kiyust? Because I don't, as we said, Blackburn, I'm not sure are a low block team, high pressing intensity, as you say. I'm not sure that's a game for Kiyust.
But we'll have more of the ball, won't we? So do you not want in that situation to look to pick it up and drive with the ball? Yeah, they have about 50% possession. It's kind of mid-table. We're obviously way higher.
Yeah,
so
but it's not.
We will have more of the ball.
Yeah, but I still think if and we know that Kiyust can just spin and go, can't he? And maybe that works in his favour. I just wonder whether we need to be a bit more combative in the central midfield. You see,
I think I want that on Tuesday night and next Saturday. So I'd have Taylor to start against Morsey and co on Tuesday night, and then away at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United next Saturday. So that was kind of my logic. I thought of the 3 games, this is probably the more logical one to pay Kiyust in, I would have thought, maybe.
Yeah, well, give us your thoughts in the chat there. I think I'm quite happy with that lineup. Egley obviously scored the goal at Ewood Park, didn't he, in the 94th minute, whatever it was. I think all of us kind of want to see him given minutes and to continue to contribute. But I really want McAteer to be given an opportunity. He came on and looked really fast, really quick last week, and immediately he came on. The guys talked about in the flagship, immediately got in behind Blackpool and crossed it in on a plate for Athon, who couldn't convert. And as Dave was mentioning on the flagship, something needs to happen for McAteer, and then I can just see him going on a run of making real impactful moments. But at the moment, I think your lineup, your Egley choice, makes the most sense. And Akpom, I think, is of the two, he's the more sure thing, isn't he? So I think that's what we're going with as the Blue Monday team here. But let us know what you think in the chat. We've got.
Can I just ask you? You were obviously at the FA Cup game last weekend. Wes Burns started, didn't he? Played, and is he still just working his way up to fitness?
As I said last week, and it's rare that I'm right, and we need to recall that I think Nick, our mate Nick Bruce in the chat on Sunday night confirmed that I got 4 of the starting lineup right, and you got 5 of the starting lineup right. I thought it would be too early for Burns from what I saw against Oxford, and it was the case. I mean, he took an absolute clattering in the shins quite early on Saturday and needed treatment for quite a while. So I think we've got to be really careful with Wes. Obviously, made a big impact, as Joe kind of mentioned, at Coventry, and I think everyone maybe got a false sense of, assurance or confidence about his game readiness. I just don't think he's there, and I don't think we have to rush him back. And I think minutes for McAteer, minutes for Egley are not bad things. So I would not be taking that gamble, and I wasn't sure he was ready for last week, if I'm honest. He had a couple of good moments, of course, but yeah, just generally, and there's a psychology aspect to that as well. He's not in a rush into a kind of 50-50 challenge now and try and get us up the pitch, is he? And he's not in a maybe kind of put a full-on sprint involved in a cup game, perhaps. So maybe a league game is a better setting for him, but we shouldn't be putting him in a situation where he has to kind of process how much he can commit to certain things. But I as I say, I just think there's a player there with McAteer. I really do, but I might be
a better striker in the middle. And McAteer's probably got 3-4 assists. I can think of, again, was it Sheffield Wednesday where he just kept beating his man and whipping the ball in? Yeah, I think that a better number 9 and suddenly McAteer's stats look better because, he's got that capability and that pace to knock it past his man and whip a ball in, and he's just let down by the plays in the middle at times. I can think as I'm missing at least 2 or 3, I think, across the course of a season. So yeah, it could be very different for him. Imagine a fully firing George Hurst or a Liam Delap up front with McAteer kind of putting those balls in. He'd have a few assists by now, and his Town kind of career would look very different.
Yeah, it would. And I think that the Akpom goal against Oxford with Darnell Furlong's assist, I think, is a pretty much identical situation to the one that McAteer created and wasn't scored against Blackpool. So, we'll see. Colin's making a shout for Jacob Greaves, said man of the match last week, albeit a little bit of a late brain fart, maybe a harsh one, but the penalty award. Any chance he features Saturday? I don't think so, is there?
I don't think so. No, he'll get the Wrexham Cup game again. He's been excellent. He was excellent at left back away at Coventry. We were all kind of a bit nervous when Leif Davis wasn't on the team sheet, and Greaves played really well again in the Cup game. Also, I know he got his goal, but yeah, a few blocks in there that were top draw. But Kipre's got the shirt, and Kipre's been playing better this season, hasn't he? Greaves looked good at times, but
Blue Monday Player of the Month.
Yeah, exactly. With the award that he was grateful to receive, there's photographic proof of it if you go and check it out on Telegram. So yeah, I just think that the Greaves is going to have to be patient. He's an excellent understudy. Let's be honest. He'll still have a role to play. McKenna speaks glowingly of him and says how he's a player that we have a big future for at this club. But right now, you can't drop Kipre. You're not going to drop O'Shea because it puts it's kind of, he's the captain and he's the one that kind of builds from the back. So yeah, Greaves is going to have to be patient. If you keep up the form when he does play, he'll give McKenna a headache. But for now, he's going to have to be patient and wait it out a little bit.
I'm going to put this out there. I think Leif Davis is going to score on Saturday. I think it'll be like a coiled spring, having been what he was warming up and down the whole of the second half and didn't get the nod to join the fray. So I think he'll be ready to join in and get involved. One person who was involved last week, Seb, in an unusual position is Jack Clark. Philip talking about him as an option. I think Nunez has that shirt, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's going to be Philogene down the left, isn't it? It's hard, not necessarily harsh because Clark always contributes off the bench, but it's again, we were talking about the issues that Ismail has at Blackburn in terms of squad depth. So many options for McKenna, isn't there? And Jack Clark, you can make a case for, but it's just going to be Philogene and Nunez, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Nunez has got that shirt for me. What is it? Is it 11, 12 goal contributions so far this season, 3 goals and 8 assists or something, is it? So he's got that kind of shirt. Clark in the 10 is great because he can go either way. He can kind of drop a player on his arse, take it round them, and then look to get shots off and get crosses off. So he's an excellent option to have, but unfortunately for him, he plays in the position where our top goal scorer and player most capable of producing moments of magic features on the pitch. So he's going to have to be patient. He might well start I'd imagine one of the 3 games this week, perhaps against Mr. Morsey and Bristol City on Tuesday night, but I can't see him starting at the weekend. It'll be Philogene left, Nunez 10 for me, I think. And
so Michael's question here, sticking Nunez back into centre mid into a kind of a 6 position and playing Clark in the 10. I don't think Clark showed enough in the 10 to justify removing Nunez out of that position, and his assist levels of late, you just don't want to unsettle that now you've established that, do you?
No, yeah, and I like Nunez in that freedom. He can get in the number 10 role. I'm not sure he's necessarily disciplined enough to play the kind of the 8. When he plays in the 10, he can drift and look to play those through balls, whereas I've just got flashbacks to the Charlton horror show when it was, I know Matasiwa wasn't there, so it was Nunez and Kiyust, but the central midfield that night was completely overrun. So we've kind of stumbled upon him in the 10 over the last few weeks. I think it's his shirt to lose because he's kind of a passer, a creator, and looked really good in that role.
Do we know what the booking situations have been asked by ITFC Dan here? What the booking suspension situation is with Matty? Doesn't it go all the way to February?
Yeah, I think it's late. Isn't it March? I think it's March, Yeah, I think so. So it's a little while to go. Yeah, he's still on 9. Obviously, I'd be amazed if he makes it. He's proved me wrong because I think he got the 8th. Was it mid-December, perhaps? Leicester away, was it? He got that one. I kind of assumed he would miss 2 of the games over the Christmas period, but he's kind of walking that tightrope at the moment. Sam Morsey was the absolute expert at it, so we'll see if Matasiwa is as disciplined, but I would still expect him to get a card at some point. And like I said on the Wrexham reaction show on Monday, he'll probably miss back-to-back Wrexham games or something, won't
he? Yeah, Philip's point here, Morsey, a concern for us on Tuesday. Knows how we play, but I think if anyone's going to entice a yellow card out of Matasiwa, I think it would be Sam Morsey, wouldn't it? He knows the game, so yeah, it'll be interesting on Tuesday night, but we've got to get there first. And Matasiwa, as someone else mentioned earlier in the chat, wasn't Matasiwa's best days, was it, at Ewood Park, either of the 2 games, I don't think.
But no one was, to be fair, were they? I mean,
true.
You, on both occasions, I don't think you'd rate any Town player above a 5, would you, on either of those, both the rained-off game and the rearranged game? It was 2 really tepid performances, I thought.
Yeah. Get your score predictions. We'll finish with those if you want to give us your thoughts on how you think Saturday will pan out. That's what we'll finish to get those thoughts in now. Any other final thoughts or queries for Seb or me about football kits? I can add some value in that manner, maybe. David here, I should have put this up. Seb is getting better and better, David says. The new Seb from Chester analysis is top notch. There you go. Some love from the chat tonight. As always, Seb doing the hard yards, the hard research. And we had a really lovely email from someone over Christmas as well, who was sort of saying the game is to quote something from the pre-match and pass it off as your own. And everyone says, no, you got that stolen from Blue Monday, stolen from the pre-match show, stolen from Seb. So, but that's why we're here. We're here to serve you. And if you can sneak those kind of tidbits in and pass them off as your own, that's exactly why we exist here on the pre-match show, to do that. Do you want to give us your thoughts on how the game pans out? Seb, you've already alluded to a binary scoreline, which doesn't fill me with too much excitement. If it's going to be a binary scoreline, is it going the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go for a 1-0 home win for Town to make it 3 league games on the spin, 4 games on the spin, victories in total. As I said, they don't score many away from home, but they concede even fewer. They are the stingiest side on the road at conceding goals, and therefore I think it might just have to be a professional job. 1-0 could make it out. That it sounds like it might be a bit of squeaky bum time and a bit of nerves, but as I said, they don't really threaten that much. They're the third lowest scorers away from home. And they've got their best striker, Andre Johnson, out injured. So if you can keep a lid on Rat Boy, then hopefully we should be able to see it across the line. Okay, now I've said this, it'll be 4-3 again. It'll be just like the September 2023 game. It'll be a 4-3 masterpiece. But no, 1-0 Town.
Campbell's going to have a worldie, isn't he? Yeah.
1-0 Town, get the week up and running. 3-game week, obviously, with Bristol City in midweek, and then Sheffield United away, a big game next Saturday. So get the 3 points in your back pocket, get it done, and look to build from a position of strength for the other 2 games.
Get the job done. Agree with that. Shabby's going for a 1-1 though. He's gone Philogene to score. Rob is agreeing with you on the 1-0 home win. We've got Seager 87 3-0 for Town. That'll be good to kind of start the week with a morale boosting margin like that. He's going for a 2-0, as is Horsary. Nunes and Akpom he's going with. Lynn's going for a 2-1. Kiel's going for a 3-0. We've got confidence that the 3 games in a row, at least in the league, is going to happen. Shane's going for a 2-0. Neil's giving us an update. 6 minutes added on the Youth Cup, still 2-1 to Town. That's good, positive. Hopefully it stays that way. Colin's going for a 3-0. David, a nervy 2-1. Doesn't say to who, but I hope that was for us. Yeah, Ipswich Old Boy, annoying. If you haven't clocked it, 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, which is crap,
rubbish,
to be honest.
Yeah.
So screw you, TV companies, for making us to kill the atmosphere. I'm gonna have to start drinking so much earlier to be up for this one. Drink responsibly, kids. Aid Cooper's going for a 4-1 Town. Moving on swiftly. Philogene, all 4, just continuing to boost that home goal scoring tally aid, so he doesn't have to do it away from home. Neil going for a 3-1. If early goal, if not, I agree 1-0 Town. Have to win this. He's right. Neil makes a great,
Oh yeah.
It's an important point. Whatever the result, a win is kind of against a team down near the bottom of the table is kind of a non-negotiable, really, if we have any intent of hunting down Coventry and Borough, right?
Absolutely. You look at these games and there are some sticking out in the second half of the season that simply have to be 3 points. You've got to be professional. As McKenna would say, you've got to be humble and respect the opposition that come into town. But yeah, this kind of victory is a no-brainer, especially with Bristol City and with 2 back-to-back games against Sheffield United and then Preston, who are still up there in the league and can be stubborn and frustrating to come the following weekend. So yeah, get this block of games off to the best possible start. And yeah, a win is really important.
Yep. Manager of the month, Kieran McKenna. Philip talked about the high line. The high press might be good for our front line, going for a 3-1. David going for a 3-0. Yeah, lots of confidence. Egley, Nunes, Akpom, Seegers confirmed there. Smodic, we haven't talked really about Smodic, Seb. Came off the bench against Blackpool. Scored a really great goal for Blackburn at Portman Road in that 4-3 game that we were talking about. And just not working. And I think all of us, like McAteer, just want something to click into gear there, and maybe a goal against his old club might be the way to do it.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? He was so unlucky in the first couple of games of the season. He hit the inside of the post against Southampton, didn't he? In the Portman Road game, he had a chance against Birmingham away that didn't go in. And yeah, at times he was excellent last season, playing off the left. He's kind of moved more central this year. You'd think as almost like a support striker, similar, I guess, to the kind of role he played when he got those, was it 27 goals he got for Blackburn that season we went up, but it's just not working. And yeah, go and check out the kind of the transfer show that Craig and Joe did last night, because they do discuss Smodic. Is he one that maybe moves on this month? If you get a chance to get a bit of money back for him, given his age, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, because yeah, he hasn't worked in that 10 position, and it's just the 10 that we need there, the passer, creator role isn't really his game, is he? He's a pest and he's a goal-scoring threat, but he's not been able to show it. So I imagine he'll be on the bench on Saturday, maybe get a few minutes against his old club. A goal would do him the world of good. But yeah, he's not getting past Nunez in that 10 position anytime soon, I don't think.
No, he's not. No, good. Right, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for getting involved in the chat. Go and Google Ronnie Pickering if you haven't already. Seb will be doing that afterwards, just to be thinking about that. And kind of, if we were to ever do the pre-match show kind of extra, it'll just be Seb research, me explaining what Ronnie Pickering is and Seb Googling it and watching the video for the first time. Do join the guys for the flagship show Sunday night, 8 p.m, to talk about the game after the fact. And if you need even more content ahead of the weekend preview is available for our top tiers members. The 10 people who managed to nab and get those memberships courtesy of one-stop badges, please do enjoy that, and stick around as well, because we've got always more stuff happening. I've got something in the chat I need to put up. Yeah, always more stuff happening over on top tier as well, so do stick around for that. Microlight Flight 1 says, I see Richard Woodward is the assistant referee on Saturday. Has not worked out well for us so far.
I was going to ask, are we tracking the performance of Town when you are responsible for running the line?
I don't think it's good. So apologies for bringing it up. So I'm going to have to do an extra loud Come On You Blues to exit. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And Seb, I'll let you say the final word before I say goodbye. And yeah, great to see you as always. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to this one, even though it's at 12:30, which is a bit crap, like you've said, but I'm sure we'll be in and around the Greyhound beforehand. So if you're in and about, come and say hello before, 2 more massive games against Bristol City on Tuesday, and then a big game against Sheffield United. Looking forward to previewing that one next week, because they've been on a decent run of form. So let's hope we get the 3-game week off to an excellent start. I might have some badges, I might not. Come and see me and we'll work it all out. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you all next week at some point.
Yeah, and please do support our ITFC fans supporting food banks. Do a big shout out to them, and get to the Martella ground on Sunday for a football fix for ITFC women in the cup against Sheffield United, who will be talking about the men's equivalent next week, as Seb mentions. Yeah, you're still thinking about Ronnie Pickering, aren't you? No. Thank you everyone for watching. Give us a thumbs up before we say goodbye, everyone in the chat as well, and we'll see you soon here on Blue Monday. Come on, you Blues!